Hey everybody, it's 8:30. That means it's time for Cocktails in the War Room. I'm Mistress Carrie. Welcome to my war room if you've never been here before. This is the room in my house where the bar is and a lot of other really cool stuff, a lot of military memorabilia from my family and friends. And so we call it the War Room, and we started meeting here 51 days ago. Can you believe that it's been 51 days? I can't. 51 days ago, every night at 8:30, we started gathering in the War Room as a place to get together, talk about our day, remind each other that we're not alone in this craziness that's going on. And it's kind of our way to decompress at the end of the day, whether it was a long, boring day for some and a very exciting and too busy day for others. But usually by 8:30, the kids are in bed, and that means you can make yourself a cocktail and you can relax. So how are you guys? What's up, William? Hey, Michelle. Hey, Trisha. What's going on, Kathy? Heather, finally time to relax. I know, it feels good, doesn't it? Yay, Carrie time, says Scott. What's going on, Laura? Wednesday is good, but she's very tired. She has been running around all day, and right now she's sleeping, but I'm going to try and coax her over here. What's going on, Ron? Hey, PJ. So today it was beautiful, like almost perfect, gorgeous weather, finally. Hey, Erica. And Jamie says edibles, but we finally, at least here in Massachusetts, got to go outside and enjoy the warm weather. I got a little suntan today. I did some work in the yard. Although I got to tell you, I woke up today with such promise. And today, even though it was beautiful outside, really turned out to be a shit day for me. Just, you know, those days where nothing goes right, that no matter how hard you try, everything you touch just goes wrong. I'm just warning you right now that, you know, if my phone falls out of the cool tripod, any host of things could go wrong, but today just was kind of a suck day. I did a lot of work in the yard, and I paid the price for it because I am covered in mayfly and blackfly bites. I have one right here on my neck that is literally driving me crazy. It's so itchy. Then I had some stuff break in my house today. I had a piece of equipment break that I got some stuff for my computer and got a new computer, and, you know, been trying to figure out what my plan is going to be moving forward. And I spent a lot of money on a piece of equipment, and it broke today. Luckily, it's within the return policy, and I'm going to be able to get a new one. But it's just one of those days that, like, today just sucked. And thankfully, the weather was really nice, so I spent some time, like I told you guys to do. I just went outside in the yard, laid in the grass with the dog, and just tried to breathe. And then I spent like 15 minutes sitting in my front yard because there were bunnies out there, and I guess they didn't see me. And they were just hopping around and eating like the clover out of my yard. They had no idea I was there, and literally for like 15 minutes, I just sat there and watched bunnies eat. And it was so zen and peaceful. But yeah, Jeff, the mayflies are insane. Just awful. And I had work gloves on, so I kept itching myself. And I didn't even realize that because I was working with bark mulch, like I got the mulch coloring like all brown, and today just sucked. I think I took like a half an hour shower today just trying to get all of this crap. Teddy says, did you spread the 10 yards of mulch? No, I would say I got about 8 yards of it done, but the bugs were so bad that I gave up. I got one flower garden, a pretty big one actually, and the one that needed the most weeding and stuff, I got that one done. But I didn't get some of the other stuff that I wanted to get done today just because the bugs were so bad. It is going to be nice tomorrow. It's not going to be as nice as it was today, but it's not going to rain. And it just so happens, Ken, that I was going to talk about that. My motorcycle's coming out of storage tomorrow. Now, I know there are a lot of hardcore bikers that are like, I never put my bike in storage. I want to be able to ride it whenever. And that's great. But I don't have the space in my garage to be able to keep my bike and my car and then the stuff that I need for my house, like the wheelbarrows and the snowblower and some of the other stuff that I need in the garage, and have my motorcycle in there. So I store my bike off site. I've been storing my bike up at Manchester Harley for 20 years now, almost 20 years, something like that. Those guys have always been really sweet to me, and they've been storing my bike. They take great care of it. I've known them for a really long time, and I called them late this year because I was like, look, I'm really not in a rush. The weather's been so crappy. And so finally I was like, okay, the weather's getting better. The roads have a lot of the sand and salt off of them. Can I have my bike? And they were like, yep, we've been waiting for you to call. So my bike arrives tomorrow, which I'm pretty excited about. As long as the bugs weren't murder hornets. Did you guys notice that after we talked about the fucking murder hornets last night, there's pictures of them everywhere and everyone's talking about them? They're so scary. So it's either like thousands of the little itty bitty black flies, or you just get this one honking son of a bitch that comes and lands on your face and just sucks your soul. Brutal. You know what I wanted to tell you guys? So last night, if you weren't hanging out with us, I was on a limoncello kick last night. So much so that I forgot that yesterday was The Rock's birthday. Fuck up number one. Fuck up number two, last night was the 50th Cocktails in the War Room, and I didn't even realize it. I thought it was tonight, but it was actually last night. Tonight's number 51. So that's the two fuck ups so far. So last night, I told a story about interviewing Marilyn Manson at Ozfest years ago. And I can always tell by looking at the likes on my page, like when I talk about something that people don't like. If I have some kind of an opinion that might, heaven forbid, have something to do with politics or religion, you can always kind of see, oops, some people didn't like what I was talking about tonight. I had not a ton, but there were a significant amount of people that unliked my page last night because I don't think they liked me talking about the dildo with Marilyn Manson. I think they thought this might have been a family show, but I think we lost like 35 people last night. And you know what's funny is that there's almost that many of them came back between now and then. It was just watching the subscription numbers go up and down. And I was like, were people really that insulted about the Marilyn Manson dildo story? Like, really? It was 9:30 at night. We were telling the story in the war room. Like, are you the camera down the throat story? Yeah. I just thought it was really funny. So thank you guys for continuing to like my page and continuing to hang out with me here in the war room. Christina says, I was dying about that story. Lisa says, give me a break. I know, but I just thought it was really funny because it's one of those quintessential rock and roll stories. And, oh, good Lord, it's a fucking pandemic and you can't say dildo, says Barbara. Yes. Manson Penis Project, Trish says. It's the Blair Dick Project, actually. But I laughed hysterically about the Manson story, a.k.a. the dildo. That was hysterical. Keep up the good stories. I love this one. Bye, Felicia. I know. They're lost. Crybabies, says Jay. Deborah says, well, they definitely didn't listen to WAF. I know, we were almost like officially dildo radio for a while. Cocktail in the War Room bandwagoners, says Tony. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we shook off some people last night that couldn't handle it. They couldn't hang. But anyway, so I just wanted to let you know that there were some people that got all weirded out about the Marilyn Manson dildo story last night. Whatever. Drea says, I missed it. I'll have to go back. Oh, last night? That was a good story. Go back and watch yesterday's video. I just can't believe that I forgot it was The Rock's birthday. Like, what is wrong with me? That would be like forgetting Jeff Goldblum's birthday. Like, Seriously. Ah! And that yesterday was the 50th Cocktails in the War Room, which is just insane that we've been hanging out for 50, well now 51 straight days on Facebook, which is unbelievable. Brian Blueberry Cobbler, fantastic. Hey, I'm 40 today, says Deborah. Deborah, happy birthday. You share your birthday with some pretty awesome people. So if you're celebrating your birthday today with Deborah, cheers to you. You share it with Bing Crosby, the most sampled musician of all time. Any guesses as to who that would be? The most sampled musician of all time. So meaning samples in like hip hop music or just any music at all, really. But the most sampled musician of all time, the hardest working man in show business, James motherfucking Brown. His birthday today. Frankie Valli, his birthday today. Christopher Cross was born today. And also happy birthday to Josie Scott from Saliva. So you got a pretty good birthday, Deborah. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Is it Amanda? She said she's 50 today. So there you go. Happy birthday, guys. What do you get somebody for their birthday right now? According to the FBI, you probably bought someone a gun. Did you see the gun sales reports that came out? In March, the FBI says they ran 3.7 million background checks and that 2.6 million guns were sold just in March. That is insane how many guns. And they're saying that up to 85% of the gun sales are first-time gun buyers, which is also crazy. So I thought those numbers were unreal. So right now, with everybody out walking all the time, it would be great if you were a kid and you could have a lemonade stand, but you can't because you got to social distance and whatever. So this freaking 6-year-old kid in Canada, he set up a joke stand with a table with an umbrella in his driveway. And people are paying him to tell them jokes from 6 feet away in his driveway out in front of his house. Kid's 6. He's going to kill it when he's older. I mean, he's already figured out he's got a thing. You can put money in it. There's no physical transaction. He doesn't even have to take the time to make the lemonade. He's just telling them jokes, and he's pretty much doing all right. So, I don't know. There's an idea for you. Maybe you could send the kids out, tell them to set up a joke stand. Even if no one walks by all day, they'll sit out there waiting for someone to walk by to tell a joke to. The poor mailman is probably going to hear about 8 jokes as he goes by, but it'll get the kids out of the house. Just an idea. Today's the 17th anniversary of the Old Man on the Mountain collapsing in New Hampshire, which is a somber day. I can't believe it was 17 years ago. I remember talking about that on the radio after it happened. It was 17 years ago. Yeah, Brianna says, entrepreneur from the womb that kid is. And a work permit, says Deborah. Exactly. Daniel says, get him on the marketing team. I know. Me with my whole production staff here for Cocktails in the War Room. I mean, it's, I'm running an enterprise over here. Just me and my sometimes co-host that right now is taking a nap on company time. No. I know, face police. But it's itchy. I'm covered in bug bites from today. I am in agony right now. I was going to take some Benadryl because it usually helps, but it knocks my ass out. You would have gotten on Facebook at 8:30, and by 8:35, I would have been like this. So I opted to not take the Benadryl for you. You're welcome. I'm wearing this shirt, which I believe is a bootleg shirt that I got from one of my first Bon Jovi concerts that I ever went to. It has Bon Jovi on the front and it has Cinderella on the back. I'm wearing it because they announced that the largest hole in the ozone layer ever has now closed because the earth is healing itself because we're all quarantined. So I know that part of that largest hole in the ozone layer ever was because of the hair that I had in the 80s going to Bon Jovi shows. And now I just want to make it official that that hole in the ozone layer is now closed, which means moving forward, you guys aren't allowed to make fun of me for my 80s hair, and you're not allowed to say that all of that Aquanet hurt the ozone layer because the giant hole is now closed. I'm off the hook. I'm not taking responsibility for it. I am completely off the hook. Drea says, Benadryl kills me. Yeah. I need a cold wash now. Yeah, you know what I need? To go full on Fernandez. That's what I need. That's going to help me. Weren't we just talking about that? Yeah. The largest hole in the ozone layer is now closed. Some really sad news. Remember Ralphie from The Sopranos, Joe Pantoliano? He got hit in a hit and run accident and has a head injury. And according to his family, he's in the hospital and he's not doing really well. I don't know if they found the person that hit him. But it's just really sad news. He always plays kind of the shitbag guy, but he's awesome as an actor, and I feel really bad. But he was hit in a hit and run, and there's no update as to what his prognosis is going to be, at least not yet. I also want to let you know that Governor Cuomo in New York had announced earlier today that the 7-state coalition has gone in as a group to buy medical supplies and PPE. Just in case you're wondering, we're part of that 7-state coalition. That's New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. So those 7 states are now pooling together and combining resources, and that gives them, this is the point that we're at when it comes to medical equipment, is that smaller states like the ones in the Northeast have to all band together so that they can buy the massive amounts of equipment to be able to get ahead. Like they're trying to outbid each other, different regions of the country, which just freaks me out. Did you guys ever watch that show, The Last Ship? That's one of the things that I've been like binge watching. And it's basically about a global pandemic. I know I shouldn't be watching this shit because it freaks me out. But they split the United States up into regions after the pandemic. And they had like regional like governors because they like 90% of the population of the planet died from this virus that's on the TV show. And that's one of the things that they had to do was break up the country into like regions. And I feel like that's what we're doing right now, just trying to buy medical equipment, which is insane that we don't have some kind of system that in place that's organized so that we're not trying to outbid the state next to us for N95 masks and all of the other stuff that the medical workers need, which is just insane. And the need for this stuff is not going away. Let me read the numbers down for you. As of today, there were 1,824 new cases of the coronavirus just in Massachusetts. There were 4,004 deaths just in Mass. In the United States, there have been 1.18 million confirmed cases. 153,000 have recovered. Those are, so in order to be counted as recovered, you have to be someone that was diagnosed, which means you have to be someone that was tested. So I'm sure there's more people that have had it and more people that have recovered from it, but the only way they can track it is somebody that tested positive that then recovered. If you got it, recovered, but never got tested, until they can test you for the antibodies, there's no way of getting your numbers in there. So 153,000 have recovered, and as of today, 68,276 Americans have been lost to the coronavirus. Now, some weeks back, we were talking about how the death projections for the United States were somewhere between 100,000 and 240,000. You guys remember, because I got really worked up and I started crying and I got all freaked out about it because the numbers were so massive that it made me sad. Then they said that because so many Americans were actually following the guidelines of social distancing and wearing the masks and all of that stuff, that they were expecting the number to go down to maybe 60,000, and that was supposed to be by August. Well, now, didn't we decide that the attendance of a football game at Gillette Stadium is about 68,000 people? Well, just imagine everyone at a Patriots game has died. That's how many people have died in the United States, 68,000. 1,276 people. So obviously we know that if we're still losing people day by day, I mean, if there's still 1,824 new first day diagnosed cases just in Massachusetts, you know, that this number is not going to stop anytime soon. And it's just incredibly scary. Oh, you hear her? Wednesday. Come here. I put the screens in, some of the, like the doors and stuff today, because it was so nice outside. And so now she's hearing all these noises that she hasn't heard in a while because the glass has been in the doors and she's been freaking out all day. And, which is why she was napping, but obviously she's not napping anymore. Wednesday, come here. Edwin says most of the fatalities are nursing home patients, and the nursing homes have been quarantined since March. I know, but they're, you know, now that they're starting to loosen up restrictions in some states, I know that Costco is going to require masks. I know that a lot of the airlines are going to require passengers to wear masks. Of course, here in Massachusetts, you're supposed to wear a mask, but Eric says bye-bye pillows. But the cases are still happening, which means that if the nursing homes have been quarantined since March, these are new cases that are people getting exposed outside of the nursing homes as well. So these numbers are they're just crazy. And, you know, I'm trying not to get overwhelmed by it, because it after you have a day like I had where, you know, just everything I touched seemed to break, everything I did seemed to go wrong, then to put the news on kind of at the end of the day, it just really like bummed me out. I'm so glad that it was at least nice out and I was able to get outside and get some sun today, because that really did, I could feel it making me feel better. But there's just so much, you know, kind of negative news still coming, that these cases are still happening. And Massachusetts, says Scott. I know, but you know what? I'm not going to get into a political debate about it, but the analogy that I heard about wearing masks stuck with me. So you have two people, right? And neither one of them wear a mask, well, you know what happens. If one of them wears a mask and the other one doesn't, it helps a little bit. But if both of them wear masks, you know, your risk of infection and transmitting stuff goes significantly down. The analogy I heard was that if two people stood there without pants on and one person pees on the other one's legs, the other guy gets wet. Now, if one guy pees on the other guy and that guy's at least wearing pants, he's going to get wet, but not as wet. But if both people are wearing pants and one guy pees, how wet is the other guy getting? That kind of stuck with me. It's not quite a dildo story with Marilyn Manson, but it kind of stuck with me. So I'll just wear the mask. Hi. Do you want to come in and say hi to everybody now that you're done barking at nothing? Come here. She's just looking at me with this look like, are you in there talking into that phone again? No, she doesn't want any part of it. She's just, Wednesday. No, she doesn't want any part of what we got going on right now. That is the dumbest thing ever, says Tanya. But you know what? It's kind of true. The peeing thing. Or are you talking about the dildos again? I can't keep up. Breathe or not to breathe? That is the question, says Lou. The other guy is going to get beaten for real, says John. Yeah, if he tries to pee on your leg, for sure. But Tim says, if I get peed on, I will punch the other guy in the face. I'm just saying that the analogy kind of stuck with me a little bit, and it made sense. Yeah, Dave, she probably is barking at the moon out there. So I wanted to show you guys this War Room artifact. It's a guy that I got to meet a couple years ago at the Boston Wounded Vet Run. His name is Tim Duffy. He's retired now, but he was a member of the FDNY. He responded on 9/11. Of course, we talked a lot about yesterday being the anniversary of the Bin Laden raid. And So after we got done last night, I went and watched Zero Dark 30 just because it's the closest thing that I could get to, Operation Neptune Spear and whatever. I went and watched it late night because I couldn't sleep because I haven't gotten a good night's sleep in over a week now. But anyway, obviously that started everything that has affected us for almost 2 decades now is the incidents of 9/11. And there are so many stories that have come out from that day. Stories of bravery, stories of selflessness. There have been iconic images that none of us will ever forget. Images that we've seen so many times on television. But when I met Firefighter Duffy a couple of years ago, he is in one of the most iconic 9/11 photographs. And I had never seen the photograph. And I don't know how I didn't see it. But I got to meet him. And what's really amazing is that the motorcycle that is in his picture, he still has, and he still rides it. And one of the things that he does is he is out there raising awareness and funds to take care of all of the other 9/11 first responders, because we've all heard about just the horrendous cancer rates with everyone that worked on the pile. But he signed a picture for me, and I have it framed, and it's on the shelf here in the war room. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this picture. I hadn't seen it before. And when I met him, I was so moved by the image because it just doesn't even look real. It looks like something out of one of those post-apocalyptic movies. But this is firefighter Tim Duffy from the FDNY responding to the terrorist attacks on 9/11 in New York. On his Harley. Driving by Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sorry about the glare. Check him out. Now, there's only a couple of pictures, and they're obviously blurry because it's not like he was set up for a photo op. And a lot of people kind of forget that back in 2001, we didn't all just have these amazing digital, camera phones that we could just take amazing digital images every time we turned around. This is somebody that was in the right place at the right time to get that picture. And it was such an honor to meet him. That bike, it's like a rusty orange color. He still rides that bike all the time, but that's how he responded to the terrorist attacks on 9/11 is that he threw his turnout gear on and he rode down there on his freaking bike. I can't imagine trying to shift gears on my motorcycle in fire boots. Never mind having all of this gear on. So he signed it for me, and just an inspiration. Notice that he's headed by Roy Rogers, Pizza Hut, and Dunkin' Donuts there. But it's just such a moving. I mean, look at the street. I'm trying to not have a glare from my fancy schmancy light in here, but I mean, doesn't it look like it looks like a movie set? It just doesn't even look real. I just think it's such a powerful image, and I apologized to him when I met him a couple years ago. I was like, I am so sorry. I never saw that picture before. I never heard his story before. I just Googled Tim Duffy FDNY, and that photo came up, says Sean. Yeah, like, his story's unbelievable, and he's retired now. And he said a lot of the guys that he worked with have already died from the job-related cancer from working on the pile. Kim says that's a lot of weight to keep that bike up with all of that gear. Never mind. Look at what's on the road. The ash and the trash and the rubble. I just think it's such an unbelievable photo. It doesn't look real, and it is. And so you can look him up online. You can look up the philanthropic and the volunteer work and the nonprofit stuff that he does. Yeah, Michael says, first time for me. I know. I felt so bad. If you go to the photo galleries on this Facebook page. There's a photo album called Our Troops and First Responders. And if you scroll through it, you will see a picture of me and firefighter Duffy and his majestic firefighter mustache, of course, at the Boston Wounded Vet Run at Boston Harley that day. And I was like, you know what? That is one of the most amazing images, and I can't believe that I had never seen it before. Yeah, Danielle, same thing. I've never seen that pic. It's crazy. Deanna says I would have fallen over just trying to walk through that. Amanda says, wow, that photo really speaks 1,000 words. It 100% does. I mean, it's such an amazing, iconic moment in time. And you can look at it, and without me telling you that that's New York City on 9/11, you would have known exactly where it was. But it's images like this that when people ask me why I have such passionate loyalty to our first responders, our firefighters, our police officers, law enforcement, paramedics, I get asked that question a lot, especially when a firefighter gets a DUI or, one cop gets in trouble for doing some shady shit or whatever. People say, see, why do you support them? Why do you support them? There's always going to be bad people in any job, in any profession. There's bad people everywhere. But the day that the whole world seemed like it was falling apart, that's what he did. He could have stayed home, because I believe he was off that day, and when they recalled everybody, like, he went to the firehouse and grabbed his gear, and that's how he got down there. But, I mean, if you think the world is going to end, or you think that, the city's under attack and you're headed toward the place where the attack is happening, some people wouldn't have gone. And that's how he got down there. Ran right into the belly of the beast. And it's images like this is why. And so whether it's firefighters like this, or police officers, or paramedics, or right now we're looking at the healthcare workers that are walking into these places suited up with all of this equipment, or that's only if they're lucky. If they don't have the equipment and they're still showing up to work, that's what selflessness looks like. That's bravery. That's caring more about your fellow man than you care about yourself. That's believing in a common cause and a greater good. Like, that's what this picture is. And I just look at it, and then I look at the people that are protesting about getting haircuts, and I'm like, really? Like, I get it that Eric says, like a motherfucking boss. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it hasn't even been 20 years, and we've gone from this to the country being torn apart over a virus right now. And I just wish that there were more people like firefighter Duffy. He's just an amazing guy. He's an amazing human being, selfless, couldn't be nicer, sweeter. There were so many people lined up to meet him. I mean, if you've never been to the Boston Wounded Vet Run, there's thousands of people that go to this thing. You don't have to be a motorcycle rider to go. There's always Medal of Honor recipients and just amazing heroes that go there to give speeches, and all of the money goes to benefit wounded veterans, to help them fix their houses or to retrofit vehicles, or, just to help with whatever they might need. And so I really wanted to show you guys this picture today, because as depressing and awful as that day was, as horrific as those wars have been since 9/11, and now with as isolated and kind of torn apart this country kind of feels right now, with people arguing over when to open the country and when not, and is the virus real or not, and I'm young and healthy, and so what do I have to worry about? Let me go back to work. And I just look at this picture and I just see what we're capable of. What's good about America, what's good about humanity, and let it be an example of a person to aspire to be like, I guess. Look at that motherfucking badass right there. I love this picture. Anyway, I wanted to share it with you. I just think it's fantastic. Just a super nice guy. I encourage you to look him up, firefighter Tim Duffy from the FDNY, and read his story. I know the damn clocks, William. I know that the clocks in here, click, 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 click. To be honest, it's kind of soothing for me. I like the noise. It makes me feel like I'm home. So I apologize if it annoys you, but I kind of like the noise in here. So, so I just wanted to show you guys that picture. So look him up, read about his story, look up the work that he's doing. He's just, yeah, Sean, we say it all the time. Look for the helpers, 100%. Michelle, 100% badass. Totally different scenario, but that's why I go to work every day. I cut my own hair, help anyone that I can. Yeah, we all got to do our little part, We can't all be a hero like this guy. That's a hero right there. But we can all do our part and know that we're contributing to something greater than ourselves. That we can sacrifice a little bit for the greater good. Whatever little you have to sacrifice. I know that there's people out there that are having it harder than others. There's states that are getting hit harder than others. There are occupations that are getting hit harder than others. There are age groups that are getting hit harder than others. There are races that are getting hit harder than others. But we have always been really great at being a country that fights at its best when our back is against the wall. It's the mutt in us, to quote Bill Murray from Stripes. We're mutts. So, sometimes when we're in the 10th round of the prize fight, when people start betting against us, maybe sometimes that's the incentive we need to kind of put it into a different gear and kick some ass. And so, when things get hard, I kind of just look at that kind of inspiration and go, okay, we can figure this out. It's going to suck for a while, but we're going to be okay. And we just need to, all just agree that, we got to figure it out together, because the virus is going to go away eventually, right? Eventually, they're going to figure it out. They're going to have a vaccine for it, or, something is going to figure it out. And my fear is the damage that gets done to the fabric of the country before that happens. When you've got people rationalizing, well, it's only the old people that are going to die. Well, that includes 82 veterans at the Soldiers' Home in Holyoke. The greatest generation, the people we owe everything to. Those are the old people that you're talking about. Like, you're rationalizing that it's okay that they go. Like, how many of these older people, the older generation, how many of them are the veterans that we're supposed to owe everything to? The Vietnam veterans that have been treated like shit since the day they left, especially since the day they got home. And I just have a really hard time with how torn apart we are. I have a lot of friends from around the country. I have a lot of friends from different walks of life. I have incredibly wealthy and fortunate friends. I have friends that are not wealthy and consider themselves just as fortunate. I'm blessed to know so many veterans and first responders. I can't count them if I tried. And I know I say this all the time, but I want us to be proud of how we acted in this time. You know, are you going to be proud 6 months from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, when all the facts come out and all the dust clears? Are you going to be proud of how you're acting? Are you going to be proud of what you did? Trust me, I worry about this all the time because I'm documenting every night during this whole thing live on the internet for you guys. But I just want to make sure that we're all, as individuals, as a community, and as a country, going to be proud of how we're acting right now. Are we coming together enough? Are we worrying out for our neighbor enough? Are we worried about our community and our country enough? And if you don't think the answer is yes, then we need to figure out how to change that answer. We need to be more like that. Because that's what you do when the chips are down. That's what we need to be like. So that's why I framed the picture, so that I could see it every day, because it is a fantastic reminder. So that's all I got to say about that. Download the American Red Cross blood donation app. Make an appointment. It might take weeks for them to get to you, but make an appointment if you can. Donate blood if you can. My blood is in the bank. I check the status on my app. You can track your donation and where it's at in the process, and it's in the bank now. So now they won't tell you obviously when it gets used or how it gets used or whatever, but it's in there. So I did one right thing. All right. A couple of reminders about the cocktails, by the way. So we agreed to do mocktails in the War Room tomorrow so that we can have margaritas on Cinco de Mayo. So tomorrow night, mocktails in the War Room to support all of those people that want to hang out with us in the War Room, but that don't drink with us normally because they don't drink, they're in recovery. And we've talked about this before. It's stressful enough with money and with the fear of getting sick and all of the political division. And if you're still trying to wrangle your demons, trying to stay sober with all of this, you need to be applauded if you're winning that battle. And so anything that we can do to help you, we should do, which is why we do these booze-free nights. Give our livers a rest and show them the support and make sure that they know that they're welcome here. Just because we call this Cocktails in the War Room doesn't mean if you're sober, you're not welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. Tomorrow is also May the 4th. So feel free for all of your Star Wars nerdedom. That can be tomorrow as well. Tonight's cocktail recipe from the American Bartender's Handbook is called a Pussyfoot. 2 ounces of white rum, an ounce of fresh lime juice, an ounce of fresh orange juice, and an ounce of pineapple juice. 2, not 1, but 2 dashes of our favorite grenadine. I apologize, guys. This one has dairy in it. It has an ounce of heavy cream. And I know we try to avoid the dairy and the eggs and the drinks because it's heavy and weird, but the drink's called a Pussyfoot. Like, I had to read it to you. Shake the ingredients and then strain into a highball glass and serve. It actually sounds pretty good without the cream. I feel like the cream in the Pussyfoot kind of ruins it, but I don't know, maybe it's good. White rum, lime juice, orange juice, pineapple juice, and grenadine. I mean, it kind of sounds like a Mai Tai almost. I don't know, but it sounds pretty good. So, lots to go over. Tomorrow's May the 4th, Mocktail Monday, Tuesday, margaritas. All margaritas all the time. I'm going to make a margarita. I'm going to have a margarita with you. I'm going to try really hard not to commit a felony because tequila and I have a very strange relationship. If we just hang out as casual acquaintances, we're fine. But if we decide to get all hot and heavy, it's like the ingredients of gunpowder. Just so we'll do that on Tuesday. Ditch the cream, says Suzanne. I know. Lose the cream, says Becky. Cuban cuties and pussyfoot. I know there are a lot of really weird drink recipes and a lot of drink recipes that I have never heard of before. That's why I read these drink recipes every night. I mean, we should, we might as well learn something in here. We could be learning a foreign language, or we could all become seasoned mixologists when all of this is done. Drove the Kangamangas today. It was awesome, says Steve. My bike comes back tomorrow. I can't wait. Cinco de Mayo on Tuesday. The Italian margarita. Your message got cut off. Sounds good until you add the cream, says Michael. I know. Don't add the cream if you don't want. Just have a pussyfoot without cream then. There you go. Yes, Eric. I drink too many margaritas and then I start measuring my ears. You know what's going to be crazy is that I'm not going to remember half the stories I told you guys because this is our 51st Cocktails in the War Room. And so when you guys bring up stories like me measuring my ears drunk at a bar in Romania, I forget that I told you that story. And now I'm like, shit, like, you guys know that story too? Yeah. Eric says, Carrie's bartending school online. Yeah, I know. Joe says, tequila just bit me. Sorry for the Nickelback reference. I dressed up as a plague doctor and went to Quincy Market. No one was there, says Sean. You know how to party, dude. Like, that's the kind of stuff I do when I'm drunk on tequila, which is why I have to be careful about how much I drink. So, all right, guys, I'm out of here. Enjoy your night. I hope you had a fantastic day today. Thank you for letting me vent about my kind of crap day today. Ooh, Tim says today is National Paranormal Day. Well, now that we know that UFOs are real because the Pentagon confirmed it, you are not alone. They're real. What is wrong with your ears, says Madeline? Nothing. I just think that they are above average in size. And then I got drunk and measured them against the average American woman's ear size that I found on the internet. And I was right that my ears are larger than average. I mean, they're big. Like, what do you want me to... I have big ears. What can I do? All right, guys. Have a great night. Please be good to each other. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Don't lick anything weird. Wash your damn hands. And meet me back here tomorrow night at 8:30 in the War Room. Good night, guys. Sleep with the windows open. It's beautiful.